I call the March 26th work session of the Portsmouth City Council to order. And Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Yes. Mr. Clark. Here. Mrs. Lucas-Burke. Here. Mr. Moody. Here. Ms. Simmons. Here. Mr. Smith. Here. Dr. Whitaker. Mayor Rowe.
Here. I was thinking about what I was going to tell you. I was going to welcome you and welcome. We have just one item on today's agenda, and that's the presentation by our city manager of her budget proposal for the fiscal year 2018-2019 and the capital improvements program and budget that accompanies her budget proposal. And so after the presentation, we'll adjourn the meeting. And again, I want to thank you for taking time to see this very important presentation. It's our roadmap for next year. And with that, Dr. Patton.
Good evening. The Honorable Mayor John L. Rowe, Jr., Vice Mayor Elizabeth M. Simmons, members of City Council, and citizens of Portsmouth, Virginia. In accordance with the General Finance Officer, GFOA, the budget is a guide that determines the direction of government. It is arguably the single most important document routinely prepared by governments. 100 years ago, in 1919, in the city of Portsmouth, City Manager W.B. Bates stated, "In making my report for the betterments and improvements, I am not unmindful of the existing conditions in the city's finances. We're not living for the present alone, but are taking into consideration future growth and needs of what is destined to be one of the most important metropolis on our seacoast. The physical challenges we face today are daunting and require sacrifices and prioritization of services to build the strong foundation needed for Portsmouth's future. We have taken the difficult but necessary steps to begin building a foundation for the future through financial transparency, accountability, and practical decisions to improve city's financial position as we look to the future. During City Council's retreat on February 2nd and 3rd, City Council reaffirmed their vision statement that serves as a promise and roadmap to the citizens. It defines the direction for growth, the path we should take, with the vision towards the future. The reaffirmed vision statement builds a more prosperous city, fosters lifelong learning, and values a safe and friendly city. In the development of the FY 2019 proposed budget process, we remained steadfast to the guiding principles outlined in my oath of office speech on August 28, 2015. To create a bright and prosperous future, redefined by collaboration, unification, and rededication through citizen and community engagement. The new Portsmouth, where city employees work tirelessly to make the best decisions necessary to achieve our city's vision and move in a forward direction characterized by methodical deliberation and expediency. The new Portsmouth, where employees are courageous decision makers with financial acuity to ensure cost effectiveness, government efficiency, and protection over the city's financial resources. City Council, during their retreat, updated the 4 big things or priorities to coincide with the vision and guiding principles. They are laser focused on education, to tell the Portsmouth story, to create a smart city, and begin the revitalization of the Crawford Gateway Revitalization Plan. Over the past 3 years, the budget mantra of review, reflect, refocus, and restore remains. It is unwavering throughout the organization year-round budget process, which leads to financial security in every aspect of the budget and in the delivery of municipal services. Allow me to share our mantra. Review. Take a formal assessment or examination of all aspects of the budget. Reflect. Think deeply and carefully about the goals and formulate cost-effective plans. Refocus. Focus on doing things differently, setting priorities and programs, or using different approaches to the delivery of services. And lastly, restore. Provide new energy to maximize the city's resources aligned with City Council's vision. The FY 2019 proposed general fund budget totals $241,726,136. $2.7 million, or 1% increase over the FY 2018 budget. The overall proposed budget totals $720,102,069. I am pleased to present the proposed FY 2019 budget, which is balanced with no new taxes or fees. The proposed FY 29 budget continues the recurring annual rate increase of 5% for water and sewer rates to cover direct costs and promote efficient service delivery as approved in the 2018 budget. While we have experienced an increase in the taxable value of real estate in the city for the upcoming fiscal year, we continue to be limited to nearly flat revenues due to legal challenges affecting our tax collection from major property anchors in our city. The revenue challenges has limited the ability to include all of the needed funding recommendations to meet financial policy requirements in the coming fiscal year. The city's sound, conservative financial policies and guidelines ensure the long-term financial stability of the city. Adherence to these policies assures a competitive bond rating and the ability to borrow funds for long-term capital needs at an effective interest rate. The proposed budget recommends $5,700,000 of general fund balance for one-time operational and capital projects. The proposed fund balance allocation maintains the city's policy in reserving 15% of the general fund revenues. The city continues to maintain a AA rating from 3 credit rating agencies with a stable outlook, which is a strong investment rating. The overarching theme for the proposed FY 2019 budget process is economic development. Economic development is the capstone for the 4 strategic budget initiatives in the proposed FY 2019 budget. They are education, workforce development, continuity of investment, and unique financing opportunities. Growth is never by chance. It is the result of working toward creating access to resources, thereby transforming Portsmouth. In order to achieve the FY 2019 strategic budget initiatives will require an investment-driven process. The first strategic initiative is education. Education is the best investment we can make, one that pays off in countless dividends for our children, community, and city. To improve the quality of life in our city, attract new businesses, and continue to prosper as a community, excellent schools are essential. Over the past 3 years, I continue to work closely with Dr. Eli Bracey III, Superintendent of Portsmouth Public Schools. I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Bracey as the recipient of the Virginia Parent-Teacher Association Superintendent of the Year, awarded in July 2017. As colleagues, we meet weekly to discuss, envision, and address many aspects of continuity in education. In the FY19 budget, I am proposing an increase in the Portsmouth Public Schools local share funding of $396,000 for a total of $52.8 million. With the recent events relating to the safety of this nation's students, school safety is more important today than ever before. It is of critical importance that we keep our students, faculty, and administration safe in our schools. As such, I'm proposing to provide funding for 9 additional security resource officers that will complete a complement of 19 school resource officers in Portsmouth Public Schools. Also, I recommend that City Council authorize an immediate $1 million from the general fund balance as a one-time allocation to begin the review of school security measures and identify where security enhancements are necessary. I will immediately host a meeting with Superintendent Bracey to begin the process for making our schools safer. The one-time funding will allow for the acquisition of critical equipment and measures identified from our discussions. In April 2014-2018, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of City Council, I will bring forth an ordinance for your consideration in the City Manager's report. I humbly recommend that you give this ordinance your favorable consideration. In 1919, W.B. Bates built the first Woodrow Wilson High School, located on High Street. The school valued at $350,000. The equivalent today is $5,229,297. This 24,000 square foot building consisted of all modern conveniences and equipment, including manual training, domestic science, art, physical training, a gymnasium, auditorium, and a cafeteria. The road which City Manager Bates traveled over 100 years ago is almost identical to the road ahead for me as City Manager as I look to 2019. On January 25th, 2018, MB Con Construction Company Incorporated, consultants for Portsmouth Public Schools, presented the school facility study that evaluated the division's current school facilities, condition, uses, and maintenance needs. I am proposing in the FY 2019 budget the design and engineering of a new middle school. The building of a new middle school will provide space for Portsmouth Public Schools sixth graders to move to the middle school once completed. Also, I am recommending funding the ongoing Churchland High School HVAC replacement, the construction of the Mount Hermon Preschool Center bus loop, the construction of a Churchland Academy parking lot, and the continuation of the investment of $1 million for school bus fleet replacement. The significant commitment of school capital funding was my priority in developing the city's capital budget and required some critical maintenance projects to be set aside to future years so that we could address our school facility needs. The construction of the new middle school will require the city to further identify an additional $3 million annually in debt service payments over the next 20 years. The funding will require new recurring revenues to be identified and dedicated for school debt service beginning in FY 2020. The new middle school project will consume a majority of the remaining debt capacity for the city, with an estimated total project cost of the new middle school over the 20-year span of $60 million. The second strategic budget initiative is workforce development. Workforce development is uniquely connected to economic development. For the city of Portsmouth to maintain its position in an increasingly competitive and changing environment, workforce development must be a top priority. The city's new approach to workforce development will enhance not only Portsmouth, but also the region's economic stability and prosperity by focusing on people and their connectivity to job opportunities through successful businesses. It is imperative that we focus on preparing our citizens. At the same time, we must attract and retain city employees and attract employees to create the workforce opportunities for the future. In the proposed FY 2019 budget, we are utilizing a twofold approach. The internal workforce development approach seeks to provide for city employees a holistic and future-focused approach by incorporating talent acquisition and management, compensation, professional development, and wellness to place the city of Portsmouth on the forefront of economic development through our collaborative workforce development plan. The framework for the internal workforce approach is to create career ladders to facilitate the development of skills and industry knowledge essential for success, to focus efforts to address succession planning, to create professional development and training programs to include a global leadership academy and an emerging leader program, and to create a wellness program to improve employees' health and well-being by incremental, sustainable lifestyle changes through education and life skills training. As stated earlier, the physical challenges we face today are daunting and will require sacrifices and prioritization of services to build the strong foundation needed for Portsmouth's future. As city manager, I recognize the important contributions to critical services employees provide for our citizens daily. I am proposing to continue the living wage salary adjustment initiative that began in FY 2018. The Living Wage Salary Initiative is a multi-year plan that will lift the salaries of city employees who are our most modest wage earners. In a year where there are critical funding constraints and wise fiduciary decisions are necessary, it is my hope and intent to work toward identifying efficiency savings over the next 5 months to achieve the goal of a bonus for our dedicated city employees. The core of any workforce development effort is the need to help workers build the skills necessary to adapt to change, meet the challenges of an evolving economy, and find good-paying jobs. The city is fully engaged and proposing to create a program to address this important issue. Hire Portsmouth is a new strategic initiative aligning partnerships in workforce development, education, and economic development through reinforcing strategies that will provide for job seekers and workers highly quality career services, education, training, and support services to get good jobs and remain employed. Hire Portsmouth will also help employees find skilled workers and access other services, including education and training for their current workforce. The third strategic budget initiative is continuity in investment. Continuity of investment is the creation of strategies that require masterful focus and planning in 4 critical areas. Information technology. In support of City Council's 4 big things, becoming a smart city, the core foundation of connectivity is a critical part of this process. The city's foundation is in the beginning stages with the Portsmouth Community Broadband Network, better known as PCBN. The network, when complete, will consist of fiber connectivity for all municipal facilities, community anchor institutions, and is a catalyst for economic development, fostering partnerships with providers and inclusion of regional collaboration resources. Implementation of the Downtown Master Plan. The city has invested in several plans that identified ongoing revitalization efforts for downtown and conducted a market analysis. We're implementing parts of various plans and taking advantage of the city's investment in upgrading public utilities in the downtown corridor. Strategic Capital Improvement Plan. The FY 2019 Capital Improvement Plan encompass strategies that impact municipal facilities and Portsmouth Public Schools facilities. And the Housing and Community Planning. The housing stock in the city and region are vastly changing. The housing component in a city determines the types of housing available in the community and the types of housings needed in the future. This budget starts the housing and community strategy by developing principles, goals, and strategic tools to address and guide future housing needs. The fourth and final strategic budget initiative is unique financing opportunities. Due to the uncertainty of federal and state legislative changes, we must pursue alternative funding sources for existing services, programs, and find avenues to increase the cultivation of public-private partnership opportunities. Continue having a strategic focus on debt structuring and maintain the discipline for appropriate use of one-time funding. As city manager, I will immediately begin exploring new revenue sources to support the ongoing debt service financial challenges that lie ahead. The city's capital improvement program supports projects that improve the economic development and infrastructure needs of the city and our public schools. I am proposing in the capital improvement program funding for the continuation of the following municipal projects. The Churchland Bridge replacement, totaling $35.5 million appropriated to date, of which the Virginia Department of Transportation is funding $21 million. The seawall replacement project is in the third phase from High Street Landing to the marina. The sanitary sewer overflow elimination program, which reduces the overflow of sewage into Portsmouth sanitary sewer system. The low-pressure transmission mains convey water from Lake Killaby Water Treatment Plant, and the project provides a plan to evaluate the remaining life expectancy. The stormwater projects continue to address multiple drainage facilities, repairs, and the city's lake management program. City Fiber Network will provide the next generation of connectivity for the future of the city. The Truxton Fire Station, the design phase for the new fire station will begin. Effingham Street improvements at the Naval Medical Center, which expands Effingham Street from the gates at the Portsmouth Naval Medical Center to Crawford Parkway. The Social Service Building, HVAC and roof replacement, and a new project to update the Churchland and Operations Center fuel pumps and the chip reader system. Portsmouth's economy continues to experience a healthy increase in activities, especially in critical sectors such as retail, multifamily, and port-related developments through economic development initiatives. Some of these include over $31 million invested in the Midtown Marketplace Quarter, Momac Brewery Company, the city's first microbrewery located in Churchland, and the Richmond-based Legend Brewery Depot, a microbrewery at the foot of High Street, both opened in July of 2017. The microdistillery Copper and Oak Craft Spirits opened in October of 2017. During the last 3 years, over $100 million of private investment and over 800 multifamily units are available for living quarters in downtown Portsmouth, developed by the Whitmore Company, Monumental Construction and Development, and the Breeden Company. The Port of Virginia is very active, welcoming several large container ships, such as the Costco, the first of the Panamax vessels to call on the east coast of the United States in 2017, and the Theodore Roosevelt, the ultra-large container vessel carrying 14,400 tonnage equivalent units. Also, Interchange, a third-party logistic company, completed an $11 million, 200,000 square foot speculative warehouse building. In 1620, John Wood sailed his ship up the Elizabeth River, looking at the span of strong timber and the beauty of the river along the banks that is now home to the oldest shipyard in the nation, celebrating 250 years in 2017, the Norfolk Naval Shipyard. The beauty that John Wood saw then is now seen through the eyes of citizens and every visitor today. Downtown Portsmouth is the most vivid and authentic expression of our city's beauty, history, and culture. The Crawford Gateway Revitalization Strategy seeks to capitalize on public and private investment in downtown by emphasizing the City Council's vision to provide access to the waterfront and reinvigorate downtown with substantial economic development. The implementation of the revitalization strategy will create enhanced connectivity along Crawford and the Elizabeth River waterfront, enhance the value of development opportunities, improve stormwater management and flood protection, increase downtown daytime population, and improve livability downtown through bike pedestrian enhancement, quality open space, and expanded retail, shopping, dining options. It will also focus on the quality of experience, value, and opportunities for the enhanced seawall and open space amenities. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of City Council, I have presented this evening the proposed FY 2019 budget that is sound, balanced, and financially prudent, with no new taxes or fees. As I take just a moment to reflect on the 270th day of my third year as city manager, I remain encouraged that the new Portsmouth is poised to reach new heights and experience new growth based on the vision set by you, the members of City Council, and the desires of our citizens. In reflection, I hear the words of Christina Yang from Grey's Anatomy, and I quote, "Whenever we think we know the future, even for a second, it changes. Sometimes the future changes quickly and completely, and we are left only with the choice of what to do next. We can choose to be afraid of it, to stand there trembling, not moving, assuming the worst that can happen, or we can step forward into the unknown and assume it will be brilliant. I know that through continuing to work together, Portsmouth's future will be brilliant, for we are extraordinary when working together. There are endless possibilities and opportunities ahead of us as we continue our journey of creating the new Portsmouth. It is our duty to ensure that 100 years from now, in 2119, when Portsmouth's future citizens look back upon our work here today, it is captured through the legacy we leave behind. Let us forge ahead and work together for a brighter future for our citizens of Portsmouth, so that those who are yet to be born will look upon our work with pride and know that our compass and sails were set toward the new Portsmouth. Mayor Rowe, Vice Mayor Simmons, members of City Council, the FY 2019 budget presentation would not be possible without the city's excellent and dedicated budget team. Please allow me a moment to introduce our team. Deputy City Managers LaVoyce Pace and Vincent Jones, Assistant to the City Manager Rosalind Oglesby, Interim Chief Financial Officer Ms. Ann Seward, Director of Human Resource Management Ms. Elizabeth Gooden, Budget Officers Ms. Gloria Washington and Mr. Brian Casey, and Senior Budget Analyst Mrs. Karen Bento, Chief Information Officer Mr. Daniel Jones. I would also like to ask all department heads to stand. I would like to thank the entire municipal team for their tireless efforts in developing the proposed FY 2019 budget. And we are ready to continue our work as we move forward together until the adoption of the FY 2019 budget by our City Council. This concludes my presentation of the proposed FY 2019 budget, and I turn it back over to Mayor Rowe. Thank you.
I want to thank Dr. Patton on behalf of council and to her budget team for putting together a budget that's so comprehensive and without a tax increase and without a fee increase. And I remind the public that we have our first public hearing on April the 10th, followed by a second public hearing on April the 24th. And I would assume that the budget document itself will be online, available right now. And so with that, and I think that our city clerk has copies for council. With that, this meeting is now adjourned, and thank you again.